Hey guys, welcome back to Beard Bytes. This is episode 20, and we're two dudes that don't wear Fenty. But what we do is talk about video games here on the podcast. I'm Ahmed, that is Hadi. If y'all have been here, y'all know, but if you don't know, we're two dudes that talk about video games. I repeated it twice because
That's
it's
okay.
nice.
There you go. Well, in case they don't know, like what if they forgot from the first
Yeah,
time you said it?
yeah.
But we do have a stacked docket today. Stuff about Switch 2, Steam data leak, GTA, more GTA news, because of course, fighting games are going through it. Bigger story today is going to be the marathon built on lies, essentially, which will be really interesting. And we'll end it off with Darth Vader saying some slurs and Kojima leaving his will and telling the future after he dies.
Yeah, honestly, dude. Okay, the Kojima bit is interesting because my brain was like Ready Player One, straight up. But
Yeah.
that's a separate bit that I think we'll dive into it as we get into it. But that being said, man, how has your week been? What have you been up to? Let the people know.
Let the people know. Well, I be eating, I be working, I be sleeping, and that's been going on. But
I 100% thought you were gonna say twerking.
you wish.
I just the rhyming scheme, I don't know,
Not twerking. I was gonna be like
pattern matching.
I be pooping, but I didn't go for it because I was like, you know what? I'll be mature. But I already said it, so here we are now. But week is going good. Busy with work, so playing games off the clock as usual. But
That's crazy. I have not murdered anybody illegally. Like, what are you causing so much attention?
Yeah, can't prove it. Anyways,
This guy.
yeah. So what have I been playing? I saw Sinners this past week. It was pretty good. Definitely recommend it if anybody has not seen it yet. Yeah, fun, family friendly movie. Not really, but
It's not family friendly, bro. Dude, I saw Sinners a week earlier. It was good, but it was, bro. Look. My thing is this: if there's some scenes in movies, you can just give me like a 3-second establishing scene. I don't need to see.
Yep.
Yeah, all right, man. Okay, if you take one button off, I understand this. I don't need to see all buttons getting off putting the pants on the. Listen, man. I don't need to see the whole situation.
Yep.
But I mean, it was an interesting take.
Yeah.
On. I mean, actually, I don't want to say it's an interesting take on the story that it's trying to tell.
Correct. That is the best way to put it without spoilers. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. I started watching Andor today, from a heavy recommendation from a good friend of ours, and it's good so far. I don't know if it's hit that like, oh, I need to watch this, like that kind of thing. But still going through it. I want to give it a shot. I did finish Severance finally.
Nice.
Season 2 episode 10 was amazing. I did not realize it was a double length episode, but fire episode. I really hope they finish with season 3. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's too much, man. I feel like there's so much about like people trying to build a brand or a thing, which I understand that like you've invested in so much initial to get things lifted. So
yeah.
doing subsequent seasons is not as costly, but man, dude, just you gotta know when to call it, because it's over. Because especially with season 2, they played it way too close to the chest, where it was like everything is gonna be not a jump scare. What is it called? Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm sick of tuning in for just a cliffhanger. Just move something forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I hope it's like they don't try to milk it, but I also understand the idea. It's like, oh well, they've established this thing, but I don't think Severance is the kind of thing where it's like, oh, we got to keep the brand go. Like, I feel like that's very antithetical to what the show is trying to talk about. But
yeah, because I feel like Westworld got the same situation a little bit, where like Westworld was amazing after season 1. Season 2 was like, okay, just stop. Season 3 just, and I think 4 just, it's like, okay, I'm not even gonna watch after that. But yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. But yeah, other than that, I played the games that I played are Oblivion remake. I played it for the final time and then uninstalled it because I went to like my sixth cave in the game. No, sorry, I'll say like my 12th cave in the game, and it's like the same kind of like cavern and like a couple skeletons. I'm like, all right, I don't really care enough to.
This dude, okay, bro, $30. He's gonna install it next week.
No,
This is the way, the rate this man installs and uninstalls and installs the same game. Look, I'm like.
I should mention I uninstalled it before that and then reinstalled it and then I uninstalled it again because I'm like,
Look,
right.
listen, this dude thinks Wi-Fi grows on trees, bro.
It does, bro. What do you mean? The elves up north are working on it to keep it running. Who am I not to use the gifts they give us?
This guy.
But
please get a bigger SSD, man. Honestly,
dude, it's huge. It's just a matter of like keeping it optimized, you know. Yeah, it's just one of those things where like with Skyrim, the big thing about that I really enjoyed was like you could go anywhere and you'd find something new. Here I feel like I'm hitting the same kind of, not loop, but same kind of like exploration where it's like you explore a whole dungeon, you get minimal rewards. I'm like, okay, whatever. Which again, like that's not to say like maybe it's my fault and I'm not like exploring from the map like far enough, but regardless, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm kind of tired of it. So from there I played I've been playing Expedition 33. This game is dude, it's so good. Like I've gotten the 4th party member of the game, and like I said last time, every character feels like their own unique thing. This last character is straight up just like she's like a card throwing character, and her whole gimmick is like completely different based off of it. Like there's underlying mechanics like marking an enemy, making an enemy weak, like all that stuff, that's still there. But now it's like her abilities are like, oh, she has 2 face cards. One is a moon, one is a sun, and like doing a certain move will build up moon cards, building up a certain move will build up like sun cards, and then if you have both, they activate like a super empowered state. And it's like a very heavy setup character, and it's just like it's just getting more and more in depth, and I'm really liking it, and I'm learning the game a lot more. So yeah, no, this game is really fun so far, honestly. Definitely recommend it. I also played Doom: The Dark Ages a little bit. I have about 2-ish hours into there. I'm on mission 2, like in the middle of it. I'm playing on like on a harder difficulty. I'll be honest, I don't like it as much as I did Eternal or 2016, like at this point in time when I was at this time in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 hours in. I remember those 2 games, I really was like, yes, this is like really good. This feels really nice, all that stuff. This game, they advertise it as like, oh, running and gunning, you're a tank in this one, and you do feel like that. But it just doesn't feel unique enough for me to be like, oh, this is like what I was looking for. Like I'm gonna play it still and I am enjoying it, but it doesn't hit the same as of now. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe I need more guns, whatever the case is.
Have you gotten the shield?
I have gotten the shield. Shield feels really good to play with and throw. That part of it is actually really fun. The parry window for the shield is a little forgiving. It's a bit too forgiving, I would argue, but I would say that after playing the game for a bit, like for as long as I have, I understand why it's so forgiving, because in Eternal, you can't really dodge. Well, you could dodge some enemies, but generally, like if you keep a distance and you're like smart about how you move, enemies aren't really hitting you. Here, enemies are kind of hitting you because you don't have eyes in the back of your head. And what I mean by that is, think Returnal with the blue, you know how it's like bullet hell but in 3D space. Same kind of thing where you're dodging things like that, blocking things from different angles and all that stuff. So that's something that like is different with this game, is that like you're kind of in Eternal, I would argue you're trying to dodge things and do things that are like don't like maneuvering is like really important, and like you're running and gunning and you're like Mario like platforming all over the stage to kill enemies. You're stalling at enemies. Here it's like, oh, I gotta parry, I gotta dodge. You're more in the trenches fighting it, and it's not bad, but it's just a little different than it just feels a little different. I got the mech that they've been advertising in the thing, and it's a little disappointing, I won't lie to you. It's just, you know, like very basic punches and kicks at the moment, but maybe the depth will be increased, we'll see. But as of now, if I had to rate it, I would say it's like a solid 7 out of 10. But I'm still going at it, and you know, I think my thing will change its mind for sure. It is ray tracing is required, so that is something that
Like
if anybody,
Indiana Jones, I guess.
yeah, so if anyone was thinking about buying this game, just keep that in mind. But yeah, and then I also play. So Ahmed has been playing Blueprints, and you know, he'll tell you about it as he plays in his week. But it got me to reinstall it as well. So then we had to play this fun dance of like, okay, Ahmed's playing it, I gotta wait, or I'm playing it, Ahmed has to wait, because we have it in the Steam family share. But
I'm sorry, bro.
no, it's fine.
I thought you were done with it. That's why
I mean, it's fine.
No.
I gave you priority because I was like, I'm not in a rush to beat it. And I remember telling you, I don't know if I said it at the podcast, but I remember telling you that I don't really enjoy Blueprints that much because it's too random. The RNG is kind of killing it for me, all this stuff, right? And then I was like, let me re-download it and let me try to beat the game again, just because it's like, I want to see if I can get the ending at least, right? And I downloaded it, and I got some puzzle progression, and I was feeling that feeling of like, okay, this feels good. Like I got like a lot of good, like solid puzzle solving stuff out of the way, and that feeling was coming back of like, oh, this game is hitting all of a sudden. And then I got a bunch of like very unlucky runs between. There's a puzzle between 2 rooms. I told Ahmed about it. I don't want to say it on here because it might spoil it, but 2 rooms that need to be adjacent to each other, and it's just like insanely difficult to do it, and it just kept, not insanely difficult, but RNG is really important, and I just kept getting screwed. I got like 3 runs in, 4 or 5 runs in, and I was like, all right, like, my God, give me the thing. And finally I got that, like, that combination. Once I got that combination of rooms, the rest of the puzzles really opened up for me, simply because like that was like the biggest one that I needed, and I got that. And I got the next one after that was like the perfect RNG. I got the main route to finish the game unlocked. I was able to make the entire run with like 3 steps left. So I beat the game fully, in terms of like, I got to the specific room they asked you to get to and got the cutscenes and stuff like that. I know there's more to the game, but I don't want to go back into it, simply because the RNG required to get there is a bit much, and I don't care enough to do it. I'm burnt out again, you know? But I do kind of recommend it if you're into puzzle games. Just know that if you don't have a high threshold for like restarting or like having to take a break because the game is just not giving you the answer you want, then you know, you might like this game. But if you don't like that stuff, then don't play this game. That's my take on Blueprints. But what about you, Ahmed? What's your take on Blueprints?
I'm liking it. I think like it's one, I think it's a very fresh take on the genre. It works when okay, I think late game the game kind of falls off, right? What I mean by that is the game is very much kind of it's best at its mystique and allure when you're like, oh, what's going on, right? So I think early to mid game or early to middle is where the game feels like super enjoyable, right? Where so like when a lot of people used to talk about Hades, Hades was super difficult, but the main thing that kind of that made it different from other roguelikes was every time you die, there's story progression. So it felt like you're getting something interesting. You're learning more about what's happening each time you play, and that's how Blueprints feels, where you walk up to a door, you open the door, and you see a bunch of new cards that you haven't seen the previous day or in the previous sessions, and then as you get more familiar with the rooms, you realize, oh, there's bits and pieces scattered out of clues, right? So you have to kind of keep noting everything down. But I think once you start getting towards the late game-ish, where you're like, okay, I need this specific configuration of rooms to achieve this certain puzzle, or if you like, so in the middle it's good because you're chasing other leads, but then once you get to a point where like, okay, I only have 2 leads to chase down, and they're found in other rooms, then they're found in very specific rooms.
Mhm.
That's where it gets a bit more like, okay, like you have to be their patience needs to be involved. But
Yeah.
one thing I was thinking was like, if this game, because there's critiques of this game, right, of Blueprints, and some people were saying the fact that you have to have note taking on the side is like too much. They were saying, hey, like what if there was like clue, like tracking or whatever baked into the game, but I feel like that might take away
I feel like that takes away from the game.
the
No,
vibe.
like
Yeah, exactly.
I do like the note taking. Like I complained about it in the past, but that's only because like I was feeling a little bit lazy and I don't want to have to play. Like I had to be in the mood to want to play the game because you have to like have the notepad open. You have to like commit to taking notes because it, but that vibe is really cool. Like there's very few games that like make you like want to do that. Outer Wilds does it, but it does it in game, and it really works with the formula. I think if done well, then it's really cool. But in this case, the game has you just do it on the side, and I think it works. And the game tells you to do it. The game straight up says, "Get a notepad." So I think that's neat.
Yeah. It's interesting. It definitely is very much like I don't know if I want to go pick up another game, a puzzle game, and chase this the same way, because some of the stuff honestly feels like like if you've done escape rooms that are super elaborate and you're like, okay buddy, please, I'm just trying to get out of here. Some of the puzzles will feel a bit like that. There's one where I was like, I legitimately I looked up one of the safe codes and I was like, how the hell am I supposed to figure out the number? Anyways, but overall I think it's just a good experience to just hop in and try it out. It's if you're on the PlayStations and Xboxes, it's on Game Pass, it's on PlayStation Plus catalog thingy. If you have like, I think the last tier, it's good to try out just to go if you want to change the vibe of whatever you're playing. Because low-key, some of the stuff you feel super smart about. Like I remember there's one thing I saw, like there was like sticky notes in the game, and it kind of tells you how to solve like a meta puzzle. And then I was like, with like this and this, and then like later on I was like, oh, this makes so much sense, and it gives you a very good sense of fulfillment, I guess.
But then there's some puzzles where you do it and you're like, that was not worth the effort I put in here. Like straight up, there were some puzzles I got near the end game where it's like I had to get such a crazy RNG of items. I had to go to a very specific spot and like with those RNG items get it, and I was like, that was not worth the effort. Like things like that where it's like, ugh. But like right now I know two paths to get to what I need to do. But it's a matter of just trying to get there. But then in the meantime, also when I'm not thinking and I just like when I want to do the exact opposite, and I have been on Assetto Corsa with my driving or steering wheel that I got from Facebook Marketplace. That specifically, I do two modes. Like there's more to this, right? But I specifically go and see, how long can I maintain position in a F1 race? Because it's so difficult freaking going from on the starting line, because the AI is so good, and I just spin out and I keep crashing. Because like, dude, it like you floor it on first gear and the car just whips around, but then if you don't floor it, everyone just beats you. So I practice my launches on like on the F1 Red Bull circuit, and then if I'm not doing that, there is like this mod that you can download for driving on like Japanese highways. And I don't know what the exact mode is called, but I think it's informally called no hesi, where you get a supercar. No hesitation is like
I guess you get a car, and then you can drive. You're supposed to drive in between bob and weave in traffic. Jokes call it like I-10 simulator, the Houston traffic simulator, the Nissan Altima whatever vibe, where you're just like no signal, just bobbing and weaving through traffic, and you get better points the faster you go, and the longer the streak continues. And that's been super therapeutic, honestly. I'm just out here like never gonna drive a Lambo, but I'm whipping a Lambo.
You're playing
just going bobbing and weaving.
XXX Temptation. You're just weaving through traffic.
Yeah. Or actually, you get canceled if you play Kanye now, but that's a different. Actually, Loki, he dropped a new song. That's you can't say the name of the song, bro. Anyways.
Pretty bad.
But yeah, the Assetto Corsa has been pretty fun. I might end up getting more into sim racing stuff. Oh, not sim racing specifically. Like I'm not gonna build a whole computer, but yeah, I might get like other racing games.
Nice.
Might get F1. The new Assetto Corsa comes out as well, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm also enjoying it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I wish I had the technical mind to like understand all the intricacies of it, but I just don't have that dog in me, you know.
Bro, you're telling me you can't hold the wheel?
No, but I'm saying like
you can't just press it. You can't pedal to the metal.
the tuning and all that stuff is
tuning, bro? All you gotta just plug it in.
The tuning of the cars in the game, brother. See, you don't have it either. You're not doing
bro,
it
doesn't
right.
matter, bro. I'm out here. Look, bro, I'm just gonna be Lightning McQueen, man. In the beginning of the movie, I'll crash. That's how much of cars I've seen.
Damn, that's
fair. It's actually random. I threw this in one of the other chats, but Lewis Hamilton is actually the only driver to have a Carsona.
Is that what we're calling
bro,
it?
he's canonically in the Cars universe.
Yep. I think when it was coming out, it was like during his one of his winning like streaks, and he was like dominating Formula One. So that's also probably why.
Bro,
but,
he is a knight and a car, bro.
Yes, sir.
Man that can do both.
Sir Hamilton. Ripped a Ferrari. God, I don't even want to. Whatever. What else did you play?
That's it, just those two. Honestly, I have not been doing much.
Fair enough. Well, we can get into the news, but before we do that, I do want to send out, or I guess throw this out there. We have an email address that you guys can send questions to. It's beardbytesmail@gmail.com, which is beard and then BYTES mail@gmail.com. We'll see how long, or if anybody sends anything. If not, then ignore that. But if so,
what do you mean ignore that? No, bro, send something right now. Just say hi.
Things. Yeah, just say hi. That's it. That's like the biggest
honestly.
thing. But
or if you have a topic that you want us to talk about, or if you have some feedback, if a brother is double parked, the yellow Camry,
brother needs to move his car from the handicap parking spot. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, so again, that's beardbytesmail@gmail.com. Cool. But with that, we can get into the news here at 23 minutes. Ooh, wow. That's crazy. But
man effectively did the let me look at the bank account. Oh.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened. But well, are you gonna buy a Nintendo Switch 2? I'm not. No? Oh man.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good for you then. You don't have to worry about Nintendo shutting down your console remotely. It's so weird. So Nintendo sent out a new user and license agreement. And in it, they changed some things. With the Switch 2 coming out, they made some updates to it and said, hey, I guess to avoid the stuff that happened to Switch 1 of people jailbreaking it, getting free games, whatever. Essentially, this is reported by Tech Radar, but essentially what's happening is that Nintendo has updated its user agreement in both the US and the UK. In the US, it now states that Nintendo can brick your console due to unauthorized use. And in the UK, your digital software could be disabled. So I guess the reason for the difference here is that US doesn't have the protections from the EU that oh, if you purchase an item, it's yours and all that stuff, the digital consumer protection stuff. So there's that. But regardless, yeah, this is something that's like kind of insane. Some of the edits that people are reading are that, quote, players are not allowed to lease, rent, sublicense, publish, copy, modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble all or any portion of the Nintendo account services without Nintendo's written consent or unless otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. That's what it said before. Now it says all that stuff plus let me see here. You cannot obtain, install, or use any unauthorized copies of Nintendo account services or exploit the Nintendo account services in any manner other than to use them in accordance with the applicable documentation and intended use in each case without Nintendo's written consent or express permission or otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. Basically, you can't mess with your Switch in any circumstance, any space. You can't do that. If you do and they find out, they can brick your console and that's it. They can ban you from using it, and that's, you know, that's insane to me.
I think it's more about just having the measures in place, because I feel like probably more because like their games are so, you buy a Nintendo system for the games. You don't buy it to do, you don't buy it to play freaking Mortal Kombat or whatever, or Call of Duty. So
yeah,
like because like there's no reason, like people aren't stripping the PS5 to play like the exclusives there. So I guess for them they just want to have a hold for that, because, or have it in place just to take action against people that do stuff.
But emulation is not illegal. That's also a big thing. Emulation, if I purchase a Nintendo Switch game, technically speaking, because I purchased it, if I can figure out how to emulate it on my own without using any illegal tools or anything, there's nothing legally stopping me from doing that. But this is saying that Nintendo says, if you do that, we can brick your console, which is not against the law, you know?
Yeah. It's, I guess, subject.
It's just weird because it's like, if I purchase a console, I should technically be able to do whatever I want with it. Now, if I'm hacking the console to get free games and all this stuff, that's a different argument. And that, I'm not saying that should be punished, but if you get caught, you get caught kind of thing. But everything else, like the ability, just simply having the ability to do that to my console remotely or whatever the case is, I think is a bit ridiculous. And I think kind of violates some of my rights as an owner of a console. I gave you your money. Let me have my machine, you know?
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's a difficult thing because like I would wager most people that go into the route of emulation, they are not
maybe, I mean,
they're not buying a copy. They're not buying a copy.
Yes.
Correct. Legally, they're not obtaining it in the right way. So like I think they have been a victim of this. But like it is I've heard of like accounts getting banned, but like I guess like hardware getting bricked is an interesting, is a crazy thing.
Yeah, like Overwatch, for example. I remember back in the day, what Overwatch did was that if you're caught cheating, it'll hardware ban you, right? It'll tag all your components. It'll say, hey, this guy's banned based on IP, based on hardware, all that stuff. So you can't get back in generally, right? And that's good. I'm not against like banning someone who's hacking a game, all that stuff, like, and giving themselves an advantage because that affects other players. But if I'm purchasing something and I want to play my games a certain way or whatever, do a certain thing, like, Nintendo may not like it, but it's mine. I bought it. I could do what I want with it. I'm not renting a console from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, cause dude, they got hit pretty bad. Cause like Tears of the Kingdom, leaked out like a good like 3 weeks early or something, right?
That's also true. Yeah, that
So
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
like they're probably like, bro, this is the game. Like this, like we never make sequels to Zelda, and we did, and oh, how did it get leaked so early?
Yeah, fair.
So I could see them being pressed a bit because
Hmm.
they're trying to get the plus like Japanese copyright is different and than the US copyright. So obviously Japanese company, their mindset of what's considered fair use and all this other stuff is different than the US perception.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It is pretty wild. I can understand where they're coming from. Like, okay, if Microsoft comes out with this, I'm like, all right, bro, chill out. But like, low key, I
understand where it's coming
so
from,
yeah, because dude,
but
like their main thing is their IP. Like honestly, like you cannot. There's a reason why there's no other Mario, there's no other Kirby, there is no other Zelda,
Mhm,
right? Like
mhm.
they're very like that is like their like their icon, their thing. Like they want that's how they're making money off of it. I don't agree with the sentiment, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, this is like they're coming at it from like I'm just trying to wall off my or garden off my thing kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. That's fair. I do think that part of it is though that like this whole clause, like from that perspective I get it, but this clause includes things like if a game is not in production anymore but I paid for it, like Mario Galaxy 1, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
2, let's say 2, because 1 is technically back in production in terms of there was whatever, but Mario Galaxy 2 is no longer being produced, but I purchased it, but the hardware I have no longer functions. Nintendo has deemed it obsolete, right? Wii U stuff, whatever. So whose fault is that? Why am I being punished for paying something to a company to access a service that I should get like indefinitely, theoretically, right? So if the only option to that is emulation, then I'm well within my rights to do that, because it's like I paid for this service and you're not providing it, you're not providing support for it, therefore I need to figure out how to make my own support, you know.
yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, I get you need to protect the bag, and that's part of it, you know.
Mhm.
But you know, I mean, not everyone can be open like Valve. Valve is one of those companies that's also pretty like, they're pretty cool about letting people use their stuff, you know. Just, you know, there was some news that came out with Valve. They basically kind of put out a patch for the Steam Deck, and now your Steam OS is gonna be one shareable to other devices besides just the Steam Deck, so that's great. And they have also put in a new like little screen that's basically Steam OS compatibility, basically saying like, hey, this game is compatible with devices running at Steam OS. Based on Steam Deck compatibility results, your experience, you know, may vary, but essentially it's saying that you can like you can run SteamOS on things that aren't Steam made, and it'll run through some checks and things like that, but it's becoming more open to people using it, which I think is cool.
Yeah. So especially like if you're playing like I guess a Ubisoft game or something that's from EA where they have their own launcher, like it'll tell you like, oh hey, this like this game is gonna it's gonna kick off a launcher, and you might need to use a touchpad or something to get things working. Or there's some games that are you click it once and it boots up like a console game. So this sounds like they're basically just investing a lot more to make Steam OS appear more like a console OS vibe. Like they're laying the groundwork to kind of build. God, I'm jumping over my words. They're laying the foundation so that potentially they can come back and do the whole Steam machine thing that they were trying to do back in like 2012 or whatever, where Steam wanted to make these boxes and sell them, but Linux at the time sucked, so they spent a lot of money and stuff getting support for games running on Linux. So which is good to see.
Yeah, fair. I think the bigger thing, yeah, and that's a good point. I think they're also trying to get out ahead of like the Microsoft handheld coming out, and like as more console makers and like people who want to put stuff out like that are coming into play, I think it will be immensely useful to have have this stuff like back, or to have this like foundation so other people can use it and rent it out essentially, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm excited to see what it looks like. I have a Steam Deck. I'd argue like, I mean, it's not the most powerful machine, you know, like, and I think everybody knows that, but it does achieve its function. If I can get a more powerful machine that has SteamOS and like just does what the Steam Deck does essentially, like, but a lot simpler, that might also be a move, you know, like, why not, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's gonna be a future where kids are gonna be running SteamOS off their USBs and be like, "Dad, look at this cool thing." I don't know. I feel like there's in every high school there was a guy that's, bro, trust me, download Linux.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be that with SteamOS in the future.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, so we'll see where this goes. Until more handhelds come out that use this feature, we won't know how it's gonna be. But speaking of Valve, there is a little bit of a PSA that we have here that we want to make sure everyone understands, that there was a recent leak for some information from Steam, not from Steam, sorry, but there was a leak of some information, whereas it was older text messages that have been previously sent to Steam customers. They've examined the leak sample. This is from Valve, and they have determined this was not a breach of Steam systems. They're still digging into the source of the leak, which is compounded by the fact that any SMS messages are unencrypted in transit and routed through multiple providers on the way to your phone. But they consisted of older text messages that included one-time codes, which are only valid for 15-minute time frames, and the phone numbers they were sent to. The leak data did not associate the phone numbers with the Steam account, password information, payment information, or other personal data. So they're basically saying, hey, these text messages that got leaked, like, you can't do anything with them if whoever has them, but we're just letting you know, we're informing you this happened, and we've confirmed that it's not from our end. So that's good news. Hopefully everyone's accounts are safe, as if you don't know, you should have two-factor authentication on your accounts and make sure everything is, you know, safe from that.
Yeah, a good thing they didn't see my DoorDash. God damn, this dude ordered. I'm joking. I don't order DoorDash. I don't want to make a joke.
You're worried that
if you listen to this, you better be cooking your own meals. Unless every now and then it's okay to get a sweet treat. It's okay, guys. You know, treat yourself a little bit. But for real, the youth of today, I'm the youth. We have to cook.
Yeah, I DoorDash something today. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh no! Yo, wait. This dude, I bet you, this dude DoorDash Buffalo Wild Wings.
No. I had people coming over, but I had to.
Okay.
I had to do it, but yeah, no, I DoorDash something today. You said that, I was like, but you know, the thing about DoorDash is that they get here on time.
What?
They
what
get
is this
here.
segue, bro?
DoorDash is good at getting to places on time, getting your food hot and ready, right? Generally speaking. What if DoorDash was in charge of GTA 6? You know? Do you think
Get this man out of here, please?
Do you think they would get hit with as many delays as we're seeing now?
Well, it's what. Okay. For context, apparently May 2026 is not going to be the.
There's no guarantee.
It might slip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're thinking, because there's a meme right now, or they're like, oh, I planned having a kid around end of 2025 so that I could play GTA 6 during paternity leave, and then oh no, it got pushed to May 26th. Listen, bro, don't try to do this for May 2026. You just have your kid when you're supposed to have your kid. You play GTA. It's okay. Your kid's gonna be old enough to play GTA 6 when you have them. All right, just the way things are moving and getting delayed.
It's just man. It's also such an interesting thing because like the article that the article that we're talking about, it's reported by Jason Schreier, but the article that we're looking at is from Dextro. It's so funny because everyone is trying desperately to avoid the same launch date as GTA 6, right? We have a hard date now. We know it's supposed to be coming out, whatever, 2026. I forgot the exact day. But the issue is that if it gets delayed again, then people are going to be like having hypertension again, freaking out. They plan to release the game later in the year so they don't compete with GTA 6, and they get hit with it again. It's like, oh, I think they're just waiting for Horizon to release their next game, and they could plan the next release of GTA on that date.
They're like, bro, Sony, please, we need another one to blow it out the water.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Dude, what if they're struggling to get it running on the Series S, and that's why it's getting delayed?
No,
actually, I don't know. I'm just making it for context. I'm making BS up, right? But so I don't know, man. Like, this is
I mean, it's a big game. It's huge.
Yeah.
If anything, you know what it is. I'm not a fan, and I've told you this before. I'm not a fan of companies just shitting out a due date that's like so far in advance, right? Like, if it's more than a year away, don't tell me. Again, I understand, or rather, not again, but I understand the idea that I understand the idea that it's like, oh, dude, like, investors need to know, whatever. I don't care. Whatever, right? For me as a consumer,
bro, you're not an investor. What do you mean?
Exactly. Well, I'm investing $200 in GTA 6 or whatever the hell it's going to cost. I won't. But just,
bro, actually, the move might be to put the $100 into Take-Two and see how much it's worth afterwards, and then pull out and then buy it.
That's a good point.
I don't know. You put $60, it'll grow to 100, and that's how you afford the games.
Yes.
Listen, all right, this is the Money Moves podcast. Actually, let's just open a new one.
Hold on,
this is how people can afford the $100 games now. Is you have to be a part owner, let the money ride, you pull it out, and then you buy it again. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see, the 60 goes to 100, you pull it out, and then you give it back to the company. That's the model investor.
You're such a smart businessman, honestly.
Oh, 100%, bro.
I'm
such a smart businessman. I again almost boy mathed my way into getting a PS5 Pro.
God, please don't.
For the system that I don't even play, that I have to go trade it in, put another 300 on top just so I can play a game eventually.
If it comes out for PS5, might come out for PS6.
If it comes out, bro, honestly. Oh God.
But yeah, fair. But yeah, so GTA 6 might get delayed again. But you know what? These things do tend to happen. I won't lie to you. When a game costs well over $1 billion to make. I don't know if you heard about this, but GTA 6, as reported by IGN, this is the headline: GTA 6 development began in earnest in 2020, following the massive success of Red Dead Redemption 2, is what Take-Two is saying. And they have said that also GTA 6 development cost so far is estimated to be over $1 billion with a B dollars, which would make it the most expensive video game of all time. Take-Two, however, said this is all worth it. In its financial report, it said it believes affording Rockstar additional time for such a groundbreaking project is a worthy investment, and that's because GTA 6 is now the most anticipated entertainment property of all time.
I'm not even capping. That's probably true.
Yeah, I agree with you.
There is nothing at the moment. Before, maybe it was Endgame, but you're talking about, like, I'm not even joking, generations of people that would buy this game. Like, there are, like, we're at the point in gaming where, like, bro, I was freaking, how old was I when GTA 5 came out?
Let's find out. GTA
you know, and no, stop, don't do the numbers, please. It's a rhetorical question.
Let's see. But, oh my God, 2013.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Bro, this game is basically
my bones.
If GTA 5 itself is a middle schooler, it's starting 5th grade, like, it's technically, right?
Little creepy analogy, but yeah, sure.
I'm just saying, if that's how old. So you're gonna have new generation of gamers that are gonna be playing. You're gonna have people that were gamers that started on the PS2 era, that started on the PS3 era. there's people that there are people that are 60 that are like active gamers.
For GTA,
Like
you're saying?
No, just in general, right?
Oh,
That like
okay.
they're gonna see GTA and be like, oh, I remember I used to play GTA 3, like GTA 3 was honestly like the kickoff for a lot of this, because like so like there's a lot of nostalgia there. So like you have such a crazy base that is just gonna jump in and go for it. Like, and I feel like you're not gonna get something like this.
Yeah.
That's I think the last thing that comes to mind was gonna be Endgame, right? Like when or Infinity War when it came out, right? Or like those two segments, right?
Well,
Where
I think
you felt like you had
Horizon
such
Zero
an
Dawn did pretty good.
Oh my god, bro. Horizon Zero awards, Horizon Zero sales, bro.
Oh man, you're telling
God,
me that
yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn is not on par with GTA 5 and 6? How dare you?
Nah, man, nah, it's crazy. It makes sense for them to spend money, because like, dude, like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Some of the trailers, insane. I'm not even gonna talk about some of the physics stuff. Put that away, bro.
Yeah.
That's other people are gonna talk about that. That's not my concern. But like, just a sheer amount of graphical fidelity looks insane. I am dying to see like what the over-the-shoulder camera looks like. What the actual gameplay is gonna be.
They haven't
Because,
shown
like,
any gameplay, right?
no,
Yeah.
no. Like they've shown things that were gameplay-esque. Like, for example, some of the driving, they just switch the camera around and be like, "Yep, that's driving." But like, there's I don't know how to explain it, but animations, the way a character moves is very not to say artistic, but it's very telling of like the art direction that they're leaning into, right? And they're obviously going super heavy into the realism aspect. So I'm curious to see how fluid / restricted the animations are, because like GTA 4 is seen as has the like one of the best physics systems,
Mhm.
and to me is like it was too much, where I'm like, please, I just want to play a game. I don't want to feel all this physics and all this stuff in it. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see what's gonna come up. So I probably maybe around December time is my just shot in the dark, is of when we'll hear something, because like I think people are like numbers, and so when you say halfway to before the game's released, they'll show something. I mean, maybe so.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I just want to know what a $1 billion game looks like. You know, that's the thing. Like, what does a game with so much time, money, energy, and just like so much riding on it and so much like industry,
mhm.
how does it look? You know, and
Yeah.
again, generational game that, you know, people are super excited for, people are willing to pay whatever amount of money for. There's just a lot happening with GTA 6 right now that's like, it's a bubble waiting to burst, you know?
Yeah. That's true. I mean,
But
yeah, I mean, Rockstar is spending a buttload of money on it. Like they Take-Two probably needs some ways to make up some money in the meantime, I guess, to make investors happy.
well, I have the solution for you, brother. Let me tell you about what's going on here at Take-Two Interactive. Rockstar might be following in the footsteps of Oblivion with the rumored GTA project, and this is on Game Rant. Basically, let me pull this up here. There's no official confirmation, but a lot of signs have been pointing towards an allegation of GTA 4 remaster or port might be on the horizon. Let me see here.
Apparently, I think the leaker or the person coming up with this rumor has a decent track record. So like if things get delayed a second time, like if it goes past May 26th, they might need something to kind of fill in the gap. So like I wouldn't think this is gonna be like an Oblivion style remaster, but
No,
maybe
there's
it's
no
like
way.
that'd be too much time, and like why would you do that? Like it'd be too much. But they might just do like, oh hey, you can play it on PC and like the latest consoles now.
Yep.
Because I think there's something about game preservation that, like, as much as I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh yeah, remaster or remake everything or re-release everything, there's something about game preservation that you need to Like I was trying to play. Okay, side note. I was trying to play a freaking F1 2019 game, and it doesn't run on Windows 11. I'm punch in the air. Windows 11 is not a super new thing. This game's from 2019. How the hell this F1 game doesn't run? So I'm assuming if you try to play GTA right now, it's tough. Like you have to whip out your freaking Xbox, your PS3, and just
Or your hacked Nintendo Switch and play it on there. That Nintendo
Yeah.
will bomb your house for.
Yeah, they're gonna bust out like the 5-kill streak and just do a laser target on your front porch.
I haven't played GTA 4, so I don't know if it's like, oh, this is like a huge announcement if it happens or whatever. But regardless, for people who are excited for this, that's cool. But again, until we have official confirmation, we won't actually know, and we don't know what this means for Rockstar. So yeah,
how's this gonna affect LeBron's legacy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
I do know how it's gonna affect Captain America's legacy, though.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's.
Wait, why do you say that, bro? Why did I actually never mind? I was because I never mind. Ignore me. I was gonna make a dumb joke about racism.
Oh, well, go ahead. No, please. Floor is yours.
No, it was just, okay. Well, because the Marvel 1943 game is gonna get delayed, and I'm like, okay, 1943 was not the really best time in the world for people, but this is the Captain America and Black Panther game.
Yes, by Skydance Games.
Which, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
No, another. I was just. Never mind, man. This bit's done, bro. Just. You're telling me in the 1940s, a white man and black man are just buddy?
Oh no! Oh, could you imagine?
It's World War II, bro. What's going on here?
Could you imagine the game opens up and Captain America's like, "What the hell?" It's like, "Whoa, hold on, what is it? What's going on?" He's a guy from Queens, dude. He's not like a,
Yeah.
He's.
That's what I'm saying. He's. Listen, man. I know where he was January 6th.
It's in the name, brother. It's in the name.
He's Captain America.
Yeah. But yeah, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra has a launch update. We have an important update. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra will now be launching early 2026. Taking this time to allow us to add more polish and make sure that we give you the best possible experience and one that lives up to our vision. We have some exciting things in store and look forward to sharing them soon. Cool. I mean, they haven't really shown anything about the game besides that one trailer we got, so I'm not really.
The thing is, there's no gameplay. And this was revealed a long time ago.
Once again,
I don't
anti-revealing shit early. I just hate it. Let me see. What is this game?
Yeah, actually, when did it get revealed, bro?
Because a year ago.
No, it couldn't have been a year ago. I remember seeing this. This was.
They have the story trailer.
First trailer, bro. We're doing this live, man. I need to know. Is this really it, or was this when they're showing? I feel like this was when they're showing off Unreal Engine 5.
This game was jointly announced by Skydance and Marvel Games in October 2021 as the first project produced from the former studio alongside the involvement of studio heads. Yeah.
October 21?
Yes.
Wait, 2021?
They said it was going to happen, and then the game was teased during the D23 Expo showcase on September 9th, 2022.
Okay.
That one sounds a bit more recent. That one
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, goddamn, 4 years, dude. Don't even tell me that this is coming out then. I hate this.
It's insane because if you I am worried about anything that has a realistic art style. Sorry, 1 second. Because realistic art style means I'm not trying to be a freaking animations guy, but it there's a bit of struggle when you hit the uncanny valley of how things look and feel when you aim for such high fidelity, realistic.
I see what you're saying,
art style.
But I would argue that this is something I kind of trust them based just the concept of it, because recently I think Marvel's been on the come up with games specifically, right? Midnight Suns was a banger. Spider-Man 1 was a banger. Spider-Man 2 exists. Guardians of the Galaxy was also a banger. And
Mhm.
Guardians of the Galaxy specifically, I want to call out because they have that hyper realistic like vibe to it, but it still works really well.
Mhm.
I see what you're saying, but I think they've found the right balance. You know,
Yeah, I guess I think it's you have to you have to be very specific with how you handle it, and I think there's like a more stylized art style. You can lean into something a bit more that like you don't have to chase perfection, I guess, is maybe what I was thinking of.
yeah, fair enough.
So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
but yeah, but dude, like 4 years and no gameplay trailer. Ooh,
Yeah,
hey man.
just like that. Just, just like that. What's it called? Damn, I had it. I lost it. No. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But,
It's okay, man. You got it, man. You got it.
Do I?
I don't know. If if you're you can just raw dog the segue if you
No,
want.
I didn't have a segue. I was trying to say a joke, but then I look at the next story. I'm like, oh hey, maybe. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Say that last line again.
Okay, so damn it, no, I don't. Oh, 4 years and no gameplay. Ooh.
Oh damn. Anyways, Kingdom Hearts. They had.
Oh my God.
Oh man. So, I feel really bad for the creator of Kingdom Hearts. What's his name? Is it Nomura?
Tetsuya Nomura, I think. He's a
Yeah.
producer. I don't know if he's the OG, but I mean,
Yeah.
he is an OG, but
Yeah. I mean, I do feel bad for him, honestly, because imagine being forced to make a game. You know, like imagine being forced to be like, hey, you need to make Kingdom Hearts 4, and you said no, I want to make mobile games, and then they say no, we're canceling that, you're making goddamn Kingdom Hearts 4, which is essentially what's happening here. Not really, but Kingdom Hearts Missing Link has been canceled, but Kingdom Hearts 4 is still okay. Essentially, it is a game that was unveiled in 2022, with Square Enix saying it's going to be a service to stopgap between major releases, and then it would patch the hole in some stories, and cue a bunch of tweets saying Nomura crying when he has to put Kingdom Hearts story, not a shitty mobile game, but an actual Kingdom Hearts 4, all that kind of, fun jazz.
But maybe it's just difficult working with Disney or getting all the Disney stuff.
Maybe.
Because low key, I think back in the day, the reason why Kingdom Hearts was so good, because you just saw all the like golden age of Disney. But then now everything's CG, and you're like, do I want this?
Yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts 3 was literally just, this is Pixar movies, bro. Like there was something beautiful just going through Alice in Wonderland, then going to Tarzan, then going to Agrabah, then going to Halloween Town. It's just, I don't know, man. It just felt great, and I think now that Disney just is too big, I don't know. Maybe he's sick of the overhead.
Could you imagine if they put Ultron in Kingdom Hearts 4?
Bro, dude, I remember in high school, again, man, they're like, yo, Kingdom Hearts 3, you're gonna get a lightsaber keyblade, bro.
Did you? No, you don't get a lightsaber keyblade.
No, you don't, but
you
like,
don't,
just
you don't.
because Sony owns LucasArts and stuff.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy, man.
It would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, with this news, we got some more Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots and stuff. Yeah, that looks like Kingdom Hearts 4. I mean, I think we're gonna see a trailer at Summer Games Fest that's coming up. I think that's the next big show in June or July. I can't remember, but
Yeah, June.
So we'll see where that goes. But just like we're gonna see where Ubisoft is gonna send $100 million in the next 2 years.
They're not sending.
Yeah, well, they're gonna send it somewhere, I guess. But essentially, what's happening is that what's it called? Ubisoft is gonna try to cut $100 million in costs in the next 2 years. What this means exactly, we don't know, but it's probably going to be job cuts. It's probably going to be you know, a lot of studios shut down and things like that. So if anybody working at Ubisoft or whatever the case is probably going to be setting, there's probably alarm bells going off in the buildings right now, just so people can
Yeah.
understand they need to get out. And again, I'm sure people have been exiting Ubisoft en masse like for a while now because of the working conditions, because of all the allegations the company has faced. So yeah, I don't know what this is going to look like in the long term, or rather I guess in the short term technically, right? But
I got you. All right, I'm gonna hit you with it.
Mhm.
Job cuts, AI.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI
Probably.
is a big one. That's true, actually. Yeah, they're going to automate a lot of jobs. They're going to put the first game out that's entirely written by AI. That's
Yeah,
my,
dude.
that, you know.
I'm just saying, bro. They try to throw a Hail Mary into NFTs when after the NFT market collapsed. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. Um, Yikes. I mean, there are a couple of things that are like break glass in case of emergency.
Mhm.
One of which being like the Sands of Time.
Yep,
Prince of
yep, yep.
Persia: Sands of Time remake will release in March 2026, according to Ubisoft in their like investor center page. So it's one of those things where it's like, man, I haven't played this game, but I've only heard good things, and I've heard that people have been wanting it for a while. That's good, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh shoot, like if they're releasing that, they must be either in dire straits or like it's about time that this was slated or whatever the case is. But
Yeah, the thing is like this game was met with a bunch of delays, so maybe
mhm.
they're just like, hey, let's really just drive this one down and push it forward because
Yeah,
they need to get it kind of thing.
yeah. um whether it fixes the problems that they're having at the company and all this stuff, like money wise, stuff like that, we'll see. Because I don't know, do you know if Assassin's Creed Shadows was as profitable as?
I think I heard it made a lot of money. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good then, I guess. Like they're able to recoup some of the work that they're putting in, but I assume it's probably not enough for the investors because they always want more. So
Yeah.
that sucks. But you know, what can you do except for keep moving onward? If you work at Ubisoft, bro, please try to get out, find another job. But you know, it is tough out here right now. So
Yes,
that
sir.
is also true. But you know what else is tough out here? Tekken. You're not into Tekken, right?
I want to be,
You
but
want
no,
to
I'm
be.
not.
Okay. I was into Tekken 7 quite a bit. Um but I dropped off after a bit just because I you know wasn't I was like, yeah, whatever, like I got my fill and I'm kind of done with it. Tekken 8 has been going through a little bit of a rough patch lately. We didn't really cover it. We didn't cover much news of it, but what's happening is that Tekken 8 released a season 2 patch, and it is one of those crazy patches that completely reworks the entire game. They proposed this patch as like a defense patch, and this is just a brief rundown. They proposed it as like a defense patch, and like we're gonna make the game more defensive, whatever. There's a new balance team coming in to kind of make some changes. They made the changes, it dropped. Everybody hates these changes, like unanimously, except for a small subset of people who were like, oh, this is great, I can button mash, get through it. The game is terrible to play. It's not, the balance is all off. Some moves are, there's chip damage now to where you can lose to it and all this stuff. Like there is no you know, they said that season
Like,
2, yeah.
no, I was gonna say because I think the issue is that they were saying, oh, the game like is gonna be more defensive, and then everyone's like, all right, great. Patch drops. It's like, oh, everybody gets the same like busted, broken move, and the game gets way more offensive.
Yep.
Is that what happens?
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially. Yeah, that's essentially what's happening. And they've reduced like the power of blocking, literally taking away power from block. And so
Mhm.
it's not good, and they're working to fix it. Harada has said like, hey, we removed that current balance team, we're doing a new thing. Because and Maximilian has a good video about this where he's basically saying like, you know, like people complain that they want something new, they want something new, they want something new, but then when they try something new like this, and of course this is a bit drastic, but like all these changes were made by a new balance team, and everybody hates what they did, you know, like basically people were trying to move in a different direction with Tekken, and then they moved in such a far direction that it made the game really upsetting for a lot of people, so they have to fix it in some manner.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to now, here's where we are. They are now, the people are saying the game is unplayable. They have to fix it, and they're working on it. But in the midst of all this, they decide to drop a new character. His name is Fakuram. No. Fakumram, whatever. He is he's the kind of character that you drop, that they dropped in Tekken 7, and that's when Tekken 7 started getting like really crazy. He had really crazy moves. He was really like overpowered, and people would generally like, he was fun to play but not play against, that kind of character. It's like essentially dropping like the final boss of a game in there, and it's like, okay, like we're nearing the end of the game's life cycle, let's just throw all the crazy shit in there. That's what happened here. This guy, they announced it, and people unanimously were like, there was just a huge groan. So Tekken's woes are not getting any better, and I am so curious to see where this is going to go from here. But they've announced more balance patches, and hopefully they fixed a bunch of the broken stuff that made this game rough. But Tekken's going through it.
Yep.
Tekken is suffering a little bit, but that's part of it.
I feel like maybe fighting games are like, there was a fighting game renaissance, and I think now we're kind of hitting like a hiccup. I think that even there was a thing about how not Guilty Gear, what's the game that had the DJ and Ronaldo in it?
Fatal Fury Call of the Wolves.
Yeah. I heard that game, like the CEO had to step down.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's a tough spot for fighting games,
Yeah. Included in that is Mortal Kombat 1. This is a tweet from Okami13 on Twitter. I couldn't find an article that's explicitly stating this, but essentially take this with a grain of salt. But I think the logic is I think it tracks to where he says basically, WB Games is seemingly ending support for Mortal Kombat 1 after 1 year and 8 months with the release of the definitive edition. NetherRealm has previously said there was years of content planned, and when he was asked for a source, he essentially said, I guess the thinking is the fact that they're even announcing a definitive edition means they're pretty much done with major content updates, which is a very valid way to look at it, in my opinion. I think that most games don't release a definitive edition until you're definitively done, Mortal Kombat 1 was rough for a lot of people, and this is like one of the nails in the coffin, because man, this DLC, so the DLC release for this game, let me look at this here, is we got, oh wow, yeah, we have Conan, Homelander, Ghostface, Omni-Man, Peacemaker, and Terminator 2. And that's an interesting lineup, but like 2 out of the 6 are like Superman clones, and they're from Amazon, like, basically. They feel very corporate. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Omni-Man, Homelander, I would even argue like Peacemaker, and like maybe not Ghostface, but like those 3 at least, like they feel like, I'm not talking about the gameplay, I'm saying simply just the branding.
Yeah.
The vibe is kind of off, in my opinion. But
it's like because like Ed Boon has a not preference, he has a style. He goes for like 90s and 80s action, like movie icons, right? He added like all the horror, like people, Leatherface, and all this other stuff. So this edition seems weird. I don't know. This felt very like corporate, like, hey, like The Boys is very popular, let's get him in. And then James Gunn is the DC guy, head of DC Cinematic. Oh, he made a Peacemaker, cross brand synergy. Like, I can imagine that's the slides. And then like, oh, we can work with to get Invincible in here. People will definitely play our game. Which honestly, I think when the trailer dropped, it looked really cool. But in hindsight, it's like seeing them in motion, it's like, I don't want this.
Yeah. And the game
but
already feels stiff, and the game already feels like there's a certain way that MK games feel, and a lot of people don't enjoy it. But again, just want to reiterate, there's no hard source confirming this in terms of like an article or like explicit statement from WB, but I would wager that this is probably the final nail in the coffin for MK1.
yeah.
Just because the game isn't selling well, people aren't really enjoying it, and that's just, you know, the nature of this specific beast, unfortunately.
Yep.
They did try their best, but you know, their best was not enough, and that sucks to be them. You know, but we might need just a return to formula for some things, like Battlefield returning with a campaign. As reported by, it's on Dextro.
Bro, this is a stinker, if I'm gonna be honest with you.
But Battlefield devs explain how Civil War and Dead Space inspired the new game. They are making a new campaign. The next Battlefield game will have a single-player campaign, and EA Dev says they've been taking inspiration from 2024 movie Civil War and even Dead Space on how to craft a new story. Why do you say that? I did not realize that this was a bad thing, because I also said this to another friend.
Who plays Battlefield to be like, yep, I want to be Sir Soldier? Nah, bro, you just get in here and the game. Look, the Battlefield needs to be a $50 game.
That's really?
Because here's the thing. If you, why do I say this? I say this specifically for just one thing, because people look at, am I gonna really pay $60 for just a multiplayer only game? Okay, shut those people up and just go play multiplayer. Make the game a little cheaper, then you don't have to worry about the pricing or like what people expect to get out of something, right? Because Battlefield explicitly is a multiplayer game. Like the whole set pieces. It's not even set pieces. Like the game is so great.
Yeah.
And the scale of conflict is so crazy that when you're in game, there's no music. The music is the battlefield playing out. You know, the tanks.
Is that why they call it that?
Oh my, I'm gonna punch you, bro.
Yeah.
No, but literally, like you hear, there's so much going on, right? You have the planes whizzing by, the helicopters going in. You got the guy on the mic yelling, "Oh my God, they're taking B. We gotta push over." And then you got some guy putting C4 on the car, and he's driving, and he's jumping out, and he's doing the thing. Then you got the sniper from all the way across the guy, and then you have the medic that runs past you that doesn't revive you. You got the engineer trying his best, trying to blow up the tank. The orchestration is crazy, right?
Yeah.
There's so many iconic clips purely just of people like understanding the systems of the game and then just doing whatever idea that they have and executing against it. You can't capture that feeling in a game in the story mode.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're like, because like what's gonna happen is it's gonna feel like super bland gameplay of like how Modern Warfare is doing their stories of like, oh, here's an open encounter. You want to be stealthy? You want to do this? Bro, I don't care, man. Just give me good servers, give me good map rotation, give me a good I don't even need new game modes. That's how iconic the game. You only need two. You need Conquest and this other one where you just capture 2 points and move forward. I think it's called Rush. Like, you don't even need to do too much. The game has to just feel good and play good. It has to have good support. So story mode is just so random. Like, it's very like, but here's the thing is that the consumer is gonna see a story, like sees a game without story mode for $60 and be like, I'm not gonna do it.
I see what you're saying.
So they have to just add it just for the sake of adding it. Like, that's why at one point Black Ops 4 didn't have story mode, because they're like, oh, statistically, like only 8% of people finish the story. Why do all this effort spent, get A-list actors, put dots on their face in motion capture and do all this stuff, have like very intricate story? Like, you know what's 8 people did not see Black Ops 1 story. That's crazy. Sorry, let me rephrase. Only 8% of people saw the ending of like Black Ops 1.
Dude, that story was so good.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
like, why waste people's effort in writing and doing all this stuff? And it's like, that's not like, they're not going there. But it's like it's like the foot in the door to get somebody in, because they're like, like, bro, I played the hell out of Battlefield 3. Did not finish the Battlefield 3 story.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I
why
don't.
did my voice crack? Sorry.
When we learn, I didn't know. Okay, so I said this to our friend who is a Battlefield like diehard fan, and I thought he would be excited about it. I sent him the news like, "Oh, this looks cool," and he's like, who cares?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, dude." Like, and he echoed the same sentiments that you're echoing now.
Mhm.
I think that's news to me. I didn't realize that was the vibe about this, but now that you've pointed out, like, there's no soundtrack. I mean, there's music in the game, but like, as you're just saying that, like, it's not like a like main thing there and all this stuff. Like, I get it. The vibe change is definitely really interesting to notice, because in Call of Duty, the story, you get a game for like the campaign. Arguably, you can get it for the campaign, rather. It has it in there.
Yeah.
People generally play it. Tried to play it, rather. You just said that whatever 3%. What was the number you threw out?
I think it was 8% of people finish the campaign.
Yeah, and not everybody plays the campaign, but with Call of Duty games, you kind of expect it. With Battlefield games, I guess I thought you expected it, but most people don't engage with it. So if people don't engage with it, I can see logic of like just leave it behind kind of thing.
Like,
So
if they can make the server and the day one experience amazing, that's all we need, bro. That's it.
well, if you look at things like Halo Infinite, they did the thing where it's like they released the multiplayer and like whatever, and then they dropped the campaign later. That is something, or rather, they made them two separate entities. That is something that we could maybe use those numbers to track the effectiveness of that. But to be fair, the multiplayer didn't really have much content at the beginning, so it might be a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know. That's I don't know how to feel about this in terms of like, I'm not attached to it either way, but I do think it's an interesting turn of events where they said, hey, we're gonna bring it back. This is our inspiration, and they picked two, I'd argue, like relatively successful stuff. So we'll see, I guess. I'm not against more content coming to a package for the same price. However, the other content that the game is based on, in terms of like the main thing that it shines for, has to be good before you do the supplemental stuff, like you were saying. You know?
Yeah.
So whether that is true, we'll find out. Let's see what the next thing is here. Okay. So Arrowhead Studios, the creators of Helldivers 2, released a quote as reported by Forbes. They essentially said, they said it on their Discord, the wonderful thing is that thanks to the amazing support of you fine people, Arrowhead's future is quite bright, and we have the freedom to explore really cool concepts that we couldn't have otherwise. Game 6, which is their next project, will happen the way it will happen thanks to you. The next game is 100% funded by ourselves, so we'll call 100% of those shots. And then someone asked, like, if they have anything negative about the partnership with Sony. They said, no way, PlayStation are great, and there would be no Helldivers if it wasn't for them. We're open to working with them again in the future. They are incredibly game/dev oriented, solid partners, and this is me just saying it like it is, not blowing smoke up all their asses. I think that's cool. I think that's like I'm all for self-publishing studios. They truly did hit a big Helldivers 2, but I do suspect that probably a reason for this decision is like they were forced to make some concessions that they did not want to make, you know?
Yeah, probably I think like a like a community-based game like Helldivers. Like, I think if they can get it on Xbox, it's probably like would have been ideal, you know. But
for sure, yeah, the numbers would have been boosted like crazy. But,
yep.
You know, they were not allowed to. And then the forced PSN account, that whole debacle that they didn't want to deal with, but they had to, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's curious to see what they have cooking for the next game. Hopefully I don't know if they would use a new engine, because I don't know if you're aware, the game is hard capped to 4 players because the engine that it's built on is deprecated. Like, it's no longer supported. So for them, they're just like, yo,
okay.
Yeah, they're running on some like Autodesk something like way back when. Well, I'm curious to see what they do next.
Yeah, same. Just like I'm curious to see what the hell Sony is thinking by announcing we might do another price hike, dude. Did you see this?
That partially is what was making me think another, but making me think to go sell my PlayStation and go buy a thing Pro.
Dude, oh my God, what is this? Sony has they spoke to investors and they basically said that they have 3 months of PS5 console stockpilages in the US, but was evaluating whether to now quote unquote pass on additional costs to consumers. This is not something of them saying we're definitely going to do it, but it's leaning towards that. Which is kind of insane that they're considering it. I mean, Xbox did it, and once Xbox did it, they have that kind of sealed the deal and made sure other consoles are going to do it. Nintendo has not announced it yet, but they might. They're monitoring the situation. I think this is just the reality we're in right now. Games and things like that might get more expensive and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. What's your take?
I'm literally at GameStop to see what trades they have right now. I'm being very honest. I mean, look, tariffs. Because here's the thing, this is the thing that sucks, that tariffs are temporary, right? But the moves people are making, I think, aren't gonna move back, right?
That's a good point.
Unless new consoles come out post tariff, then you can see like a price readjustment. But I don't think you're ever gonna see like MSRP come back down unless like towards like end of life, which you could argue like in 2 more years you would see PS6, right?
2 years?
Like,
nah, man, I think that's too soon.
No, okay. Let me see. Okay, PS4 release date 2013. Okay, PS5 release date 2020. 7 years. We're in 2025 plus 2, another 7.
But it's one of those things where it's like those consoles didn't go through like crazy price hikes. They didn't go through like the way that the gaming industry has been going the way it is right now, like with the layoffs and things like that. And like, I don't think that we see another. I hope we don't see another console for a couple of years at least, just because.
I think it'll be there. Sorry, excuse me. Oof, excuse me. I don't. I think the pricing we're gonna see, I think, another console, IMO. But it's weird because I feel like we haven't squeezed everything out of here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's still so much potential, I think, that's being left on the table that hasn't been grabbed yet. You know?
Yeah. That's fair.
But I mean, yeah, you're probably right in terms of like, well, we might see one, but I just don't know if people will buy it because like, with the way that stuff is going. So.
No, I agree. Like, I'm not saying we should have one. I'm just saying like
it'll probably happen.
If you're looking at like within 7 years, is around that time when you see something. Like I think once games can't hit 60 FPS, like the last game I booted up was Split Fiction. That being said, bro, you need to finish Split Fiction. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yes, I do need to finish.
I was meaning to ask you that at the start of the podcast, but
no, we're gonna hopefully do it this week.
There's something that the game, the ending does. I just want to talk.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We can do a Split Fiction spoiler thing whenever I finish that.
But back to the thing. 7 years is usually like the time when it's like, it's been a while, when's the next one coming out, kind of thing. Because like the Pro's already out, right? And
that's true.
So they're probably just trying to get everything set up.
Fair.
Hey man, maybe you need to make concessions, and if you want to play Ghost of Yote and everything else, maybe switch that thing in, put another 100, another 200 or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. Hopefully not. But what if I want to play Marathon?
Go outside, buddy. No, I don't know. Oh Lord, Marathon is interesting.
Dude, this is such a crazy story.
All right, man. Set the stage, bro.
So before the podcast, I asked Ahmed if he knew what was going on. He's like, I've heard random things, but like I don't really know what the main thing is happening. So on May 15th, an artist by the name of, I don't know what they have there. Fern, I think is the name, and she came out on Twitter and said the Marathon Alpha released recently and its environments are covered with assets lifted from poster designs I made in 2017. Now, you hear things like this and you're like, okay, like maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's inspiration. And you know, like there's that initial thought, right? Like that's interesting, but that could, you don't own an aesthetic. So like, who are you to say like, hey, like this is my stuff? She continues and says, Bungie is of course not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over the game without pay or attribution. She also says, I don't have the resources nor energy to spare to pursue this legally, but I have lost count the number of times a major company has deemed it easier to pay a designer to imitate or steal my work than to write me an email. In 10 years, I've never made a consistent income from this work, and I am tired of designers from huge companies mood boarding and parasiting my designs while I struggle to make a living. So then you see that and you're like, okay, very interesting, but I don't know if like this is like,
how real is it?
Yeah, like how real is it? It's all of a sudden, as reported by PC Gamer, the Marathon account tweeted out saying, we immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed that a former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game. And then it just spirals from there.
Okay, I'm gonna say something real quick as someone side reading. You guys have to look at the pictures because it looks like straight up like the aesthetics.
No. Let me explain.
Yeah, okay,
it's not just like, you're right. Yes, absolutely. But it's so much worse because it's not just the aesthetics. It's quite literally the art pieces ripped from this artist's designs and thrown into the game. So much that she has a list of like logos that she just made up or whatever, that like symbols that she used in her art, and those same symbols can be found in the game. People were hypothesizing that they're the names of the factions, but it turns out they're just stealing art. It goes so far that she's like, I put a meme of Lost, the Lost, the comic where it's like whatever. She put that in some of her art, and that's ripped into the game as well. There's art that's in there that has like text that she put in there. They scrubbed that text out. It's still there, but it's like washed out to like give it an air of mystery. And dude, it's so bad. Everyone look at we'll put the links in the description, but they ripped everything off of this. And it's insane how much they grabbed. It's ridiculous.
Like the thing is, like, it's like for them to like replace this, I don't know like if it's just gonna mess up the vibe of the game, like because it looks like there's like it's in a lot of places too, so it's I'm curious to see how they handle this.
It's
and
not,
like the fact that I don't know.
No, the fact that what?
No, I was gonna say the fact that like the Lost meme just shows up is way too much.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
This is not the first time Bungie has done something like this. This is an issue with Destiny 2 as well. And the whole time, the art director was saying that, no, it's just decals. But if you look at it further, the entire Marathon aesthetic is based on these designs. Yeah. Like the whole identity is about this. The main thing that Marathon had going for it was its aesthetic, was its vibe, was its ideas. Like with that, the mystery, the hyperfuturism stuff, all that kind of Mirror's Edge look. And now we find out that it's completely ripped. Everything. And it goes even further in that a lot of the designers, including the main art director, follows the artist on Twitter already. So Bungie has come out and said that, like I read before, but it was basically a former Bungie artist included these texture sheet and they're ultimately used in game. And then someone tweeted out, like, as a response, unfortunate news, guys, an unnamed mystery junior artist was in charge of our entire game's design aesthetic, but he's gone now, so we can't be held responsible at all. Also, ignore the fact that half of our team follows this guy we stole from, and all of our fingers slipped. like this is like so bad. It's of course hurt the brand of Marathon for sure, you know. But like I said before, this is something that like they've done before, and the fact that they got caught again, and Marathon's main thing was the fact that their aesthetic was the cool thing, and that's stolen. So what does the game have now? You know?
Yeah.
Oof. It's bad.
Tough times. Yeah. Like I've heard reports of like they're not like the team kind of like it is not a fan of what's going on.
Oh, dude, morale is out the window right now. There's reports from Forbes, things like that. Morale has absolutely tanked. Morale is in free fall across all departments, and the vibes have never been worse. Everyone has the same concerns about what happens to Bungie as the studio if Marathon bombs, which is something they cannot afford, like because they had issues with Destiny since Sony's acquired them. They never like really turned a profit off of that as much as Sony would want to, and now they're being hit with this crazy like, you know, art theft thing, and everyone's cooked at this point, you know.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It like there was a thing also about I think like technically like the acquisition details of Bungie to Sony, like all the payout is supposed to be scheduled for like the next year or two. And then I think afterwards all like the senior execs are gonna dip, so I feel like it, like you might see Bungie be like a shell of itself.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. It's a scary thing.
Yeah, and it is a really scary thing. It's also one of those things where, because of the morale dropping like crazy, more news has come out where it's like, hey, Bungie leadership ignored Marathon devs' repeated warnings and PvE requests. Devs apparently were like, hey, like we're down to make this kind of, or this game is cool, but we need to have something more than PvP because we're not going to have a big enough audience for this to be something that like will make us a ton of money and all that stuff. So with that in mind, dude, this might be like we don't know ultimately like what's gonna happen. It could be fine, but this game it got hit pretty hard, you know. What that means, what that looks like, I honestly don't know. But do you see a world where like this game just is done on launch, or what?
I mean, if this signifies anything to Sony, is y'all need to stop chasing online only games, man. Like like they are like 3 for 3, I think, because on live service games getting dunked on. I think honestly, if CD Projekt Red has taught me anything, and in a way Ubisoft, like with Siege, is that if there is like it has to be fueled like in a way of passion, or a way of like a duty where it's like people either try to right or wrong. You can shift the narrative around, but it has to be done with like the people kind of like you have to show something in good faith, right?
Yeah.
Like I think with Cyberpunk, like shit, like stuff went bad, and then they're like, okay, here's how we're gonna fix it. Just like here's a piece of good faith, or like here's a token, and here's our roadmap. Like we're like take this like free content as good faith, and just give us.
And we're working
like,
on
trust,
it, kind of thing.
Yeah, trust us. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
With the Ubisoft, they they fixed, like they had like a horrendous cheating problem. They fixed it, or like they patched it as best as they could, and then they kind of iterated over the game and listened to the community and all that stuff, right? Because Siege died off and then revived again. So there is a way for things to recover, but
Yeah.
it has to be sincere, and it's when you're standing in a situation like this, it's hard to come back and be sincere unless like you show your hand very explicitly.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but man, I honestly, I look at this kind of thing and it's like, one, as like for an artist, this is like a horrifying thing to see. Like it's not that they were like, not just that they were stolen from, that's like terrible in and of itself, but like, man, like there's no, like they deserve compensation for everything that's going to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how do you compensate for something like this, and what do you do? I hope they do take legal action, this artist and things like that, but most likely I don't think that may not happen. But man, it's just surprising they did it again. You know, that's also part of it. They got caught doing the same thing again.
Yeah, because there was an issue with Bungie and the Red Legion.
Yep.
In Destiny 2, which honestly I feel like Red Legion is like I don't know if it's a generic thing.
That one's something where it's like they're still working through it, but yeah.
Yeah, but then this is like, dude, you guys need to figure out what's going on with your with your team, bro. It's yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We will find out.
I feel like they are very much like lacking ideas and creativity, and so they have to lean on like peeking over somebody's shoulder to see what they're doing.
Well, yeah, they purchased like this expensive studio and they're trying to make it worth their money, their, you know, whatever they spent. But man, like trend chasing is not it, dog. Like,
yeah.
Man, an extraction shooter, like, I don't know. I think Bungie's kind of cooked after this, to be honest. If this does not sell well and all this stuff, like they're kind of screwed. Because I don't even think a lot of the original team is still there, because like I'm sure people have left and all this stuff as well. So I don't know. Them losing Halo was like or being done with Halo was like the biggest thing that like, oof, you know.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, hopefully, if they need some ideas, they can reach out to Hideo Kojima.
Oh,
because he recently came out and said, "Hey guys, after I die, I am gonna give. I have a USB with all of my ideas of games, and I want the team to carry on forward." This is very much a Kojima ass way of just like handling the situation.
yeah. Bro, you know what he did? He straight up just was like, "I've left everything in one place, and to find it, you'll be the king of the pirates. It's
Dude.
It's the One Piece," and like people were like, "Oh, like it's happening. We gotta go get it."
This is like from a tweet, and then the tweet reply, someone just it's like they edited like a video. It's like the One Piece intro with the overlay of the tweet.
Yeah.
It feels so good, man. Also this feels like a very like Ready Player One situation where it's like
Yeah.
only one person can have the gold mine of ideas. But it makes sense because like dude's getting kind of old, and he's like, I don't know how much more I can be making games and doing things, because like I feel like, dude, I sent you a video about how developer commentaries on video games are extremely good, and I clicked on it. I was just, whatever. But dude, there was a segment there which honestly, like, it almost gave me goosebumps, because it was talking about how it was like a quote from Kojima, and he was like, like, my dad passed away when I was like 13, and I never knew how to recover from that, and it's like, now I have a kid and I have a son, and I don't fully understand father-son relationships, but he's like, when I'm making games, like, I don't know if the quote says this, but like the guy was saying is like, oh, if you look at his games, all of his games are about father-son relationships, right? Like Death Stranding, there's the segment there. Metal Gear Solid is literally about the dude having like how Snake relates to the not okay. It's not literally just about that, but like a big motif is between like 1 and 2
Yeah.
is that there's this whole like um cloning project, and like and these guys are grown independently, they don't have a father, and and like how does that affect them, and how do they cope, and how do they do all these things, and I was like, damn,
yeah, dude,
that's crazy.
He when he has something to say, he says it, whether that's beating you over the head with it or like being subtle, but having something like that is super like it makes the game shine, you know. Having a vision like that is really interesting, and to say that he's like, hey, I got a whole USB stick of ideas. I think it's cool, but I don't know if anybody could do it like him, you know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's very much like it's his craft, and his like there's some things, like I feel like if this was anybody else, right, where a guy stops his heart every 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go find his wife in purgatory, and the guy's name is Heartman, I would be like, get the hell, what this dumb shit, get out of here. What do you mean Heartman? The guy stops his heart, but Kojima says it, I'm like, whoa, dude, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah, because by the time you get to that point in the game, you're like, oh damn, like this is crazy. Yeah. You know, like.
But there's also other stuff that he's just very much like he beats you over the head with it, and like I don't know. I think like I'm here for the roller coaster ride. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking forward to him dying. I'm curious to see what's the vibe after the fact, you know. Like how things get handled, and or what his next game would be after Death Stranding, or if Death Stranding 2 is his last game. I don't know, man. Be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just look forward to, you know, Marathon getting that USB and stealing his ideas and be like, yes, yes, this is us.
Wait, a single player game? God, what the heck, guys? Like,
ew, throw this out in the garbage. Oh man, maybe the USB is just like Johnny Silverhand-esque, like his entire consciousness ripped into it, and he's like, I'm alive in the computer now.
That's literally what I'm imagining, honestly, that he's like, oh, let's just upload this to my computer. Bam. It's like, oh, my name is Kojima, and it's just like a video pops up, and he's like, I'm now in your computer. And he's like, that's how he transfers his consciousness. There was a whole thing about MGS2 with AI, so I don't know, man. Maybe he's been cooking.
Maybe that's what Kojima Productions is doing. Maybe it's powered by us. Maybe we are the Kojima production all along.
Exactly. I that bridge I put up, because my name is Sam Porter Bridges. You see?
Yeah.
You see, that's you see. Oh man.
Yeah. Just like I'm seeing these closing remarks. You got any?
Damn. Not at the moment.
Okay.
Get your fiber in. Make sure you get in the fiber up.
Oh, that's a good point. I need to take fiber. But
yeah.
I mean, thank you guys for listening, for sticking to the end. This was a little bit of a longer podcast, but we had a lot more to cover this week. Stay tuned next week for more updates on the Marathon story, as well as more updates on Doom of the Dark Ages, blueprints from Ahmed's side, and Expedition 33 from my side as well.
Okay. I am just gonna shot in the dark in the future. Next week you're gonna hear a story about Skyrim remaster.
Skyrim remaster?
No. Skyrim re-release. They're not even gonna remaster. They're just gonna give you the same game again.
For what?
I don't know. It's just a joke, man. Can you?
I don't know. I was like, where did you hear that? Maybe,
I was just trying to. I don't want to say looking at the crystal ball, but I was just like, I was just shooting shots in the dark, man.
I see. Sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
No, I was just in here. You already interrupted. I was just gonna say, they're gonna re-release Skyrim.
Probably.
And not even remaster. Just, hey man, use the same game again.
Hey,
They've been doing it for 10 years. What's another 1 year?
renew your subscription, please.
Yeah. Well, basically, they make an MMO or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, if you guys have any questions you want to send us, you can send it to beardbytesmail@gmail.com. Beard,
That's
BYTESMAIL
as the
@gmail.com.
letter.
Correct. Not
Mail like the
the
letter,
gender.
not the guy.
Yes, sir. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
Take care.